Hey, how's it going? I'm Mario Quinteros with Solutions Self Chem, and today we're outside and we're using our B&G sprayer, and the actual nozzle is starting to have a small drip of product. And if you can look here, when we spray, when it shuts down, it continues to drip a pretty heavy flow. So how about we take this inside, let's diagnose what's wrong, and let's take care of the problem. All right, we're back inside now, and what we're gonna do now is take a look at the actual nozzle up front. There's a couple elements in here we're going to look at. One is the soft seat gasket, a high car gasket, and also our spring. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the camera close over here so you guys can see what I'm working with, and let's take a look at it together. Okay, now that we got a little closer look, I will say there are a couple items that we're going to need. For one, I have 2 crescent wrenches. You could also substitute a crescent wrench for a vice grip. But I chose to make this video with 2 crescents for you, but just if you're out on the field, that's what probably you'll have with you. So first things first, we're going to diagnose the front of this tip here. We're going to take off the retainer ring, and typically that's a hand-tight piece of equipment, so really no tool there other than just a little bit of force and muscle. So get that off, and then your tip will also come off. Now, once you have removed that, you want to definitely look at this high car gasket. That is one of the most common reasons that you may start dripping out of the retaining ring. Take a look at that, dry rot or actually missing. I've seen that before too. Replace it, fixes the problem. Now, if this is a perfectly good condition like this one here, we're going to bypass that. Let's take a look at the soft seat gasket. Now for this, you are going to require, like I said, 2 crescent, one to support the actual wand so you don't bend and break, and the other to actually remove the assembly here. So let's go ahead and remove that. So once you get that broken loose, you come back and actually do this with your hands. Now a tip for this, when removing this section, it's a good thing to actually hold down the trigger of the wand, and what that does, it takes some of the pressure off from the soft seat, so it makes it a lot easier to unscrew this. So I am actually pressing down on the trigger right now, and I'll show you the difference. Once you get this off, you also have the soft seat in between those 2 items. If I release the trigger, you can see the actual the valve comes out. If I squeeze it, it goes right back in. So that's the only reason for squeezing the trigger, so we take the pressure off our soft seat gasket. Now, with the soft seat gasket, you're going to have an actual built-in O-ring, and that's typically what's going to go wrong. Another reason that this may fail is if it's put in backwards. Most people are going to want to put it with the cone facing up. That is actually incorrect. You want to put it facing towards the actual valve. As you can see, it looks like it doesn't sit in there, but when you squeeze, it goes right down. So these are typically the reasons that you may acquire a leak. The last one though, there's a spring that goes right inside of here, and I have one to demonstrate. It actually sits inside of here, and typically if this guy has a break in it, when you squeeze, it doesn't go back into its proper position. So that's a quick and easy way to figure if this guy's wrong. Now, once we figure out what it is, then let's put this guy back together, and let's do it real quick here. You're going to get this soft seat gasket. You're going to go right onto it. Remember, the O-ring side to the valve, and just squeeze the trigger, and that'll actually support that for you. Then get the actual assembly, and you're going to go ahead and attach that back. Now this could get a little tricky with this guy here because it is a little loose. So I typically keep it about a quarter of a turn back on the direction you're tightening, which is to the right. And what that'll do, sometimes you'll be able to either have this in the vice grip, or like I'm using here, crescent, and turn it. Give it a little too much. Let's go right here. There we go. And there you go. That's on there nice and straight. Next step is going to be to put back our tip. Easiest thing, you put the retainer over the actual nozzle. And now there is 4 settings typically with these. you'll have 2 fans or 2 streams, or 2 fans, a stream, and a crack and crevice. Just line up the actual spray setting that you prefer, and once you have that, it'll actually kind of sit and spot in place, and tighten up your retainer ring, and you're back in business. Okay, we're back outside now, figured out the problem. For you at home, just make sure you look very carefully through those items, whether it's the high car gasket, the soft seat, or the spring. Once you figure out what's wrong, replace it, put it back together. You should be back in action, spraying in no time. For any questions, just give us a call at our 1-800 number, or at one of our locations. We'll be more than willing to help you out. I'm Mario Quinteros, Solution Self Chem. Ask us how, do it yourself.